It's Selection Day on the Diplomacy Broadcast Network. Today, we find out which players will be this season's top 28 and will be competing for the title of 2024 DBN Diplomat of the Year. This is the DBNI Countdown Show. You're watching the DBNI Selection Show. I'm your host, Bryan. I'm joined by my fellow DBN board member and close friend of mine, Kevin O'Kelly. Kevin, welcome.
Hey, Bryan, I like these digs. Maybe if Zach becomes a regular competitor, I can join this show.
I mean, you got to give him something to strive for, keep him hungry. You know how it goes. The DBN Invitational is a year-long points competition between players around the globe from the face-to-face, virtual face-to-face, and extended deadline communities, culminating in an invitational tournament in February to determine the DBN Diplomat of the Year. DBN Invitational is one of the most difficult challenges in all of diplomacy.
At the end of the 2023-24 Diplomacy Broadcast Network regular season, invitations were extended to those players in position to qualify for the DBN Invitational. We've compiled their responses, and tonight we find out which players will participate in the 2024 Invitational.
The DBN Invitational is a three-stage event. In the first stage, 28 players play one game each. The winners of these 4 games advance to the championship game. At the end of this stage, the 3 remaining players with the lowest seed are eliminated from the tournament.
In the last chance stage, the remaining 21 players play one game each. This is the last chance players will have to qualify for the championship game. It's win or go home. The winners of these games advance to the championship game, and all other players are eliminated from the tournament.
And now, Kevin, the moment we've been waiting for. Here are the DBN Invitational Top 28.
On screen now, we see your first 7 DBNI qualifiers.
In first place, we have Nicholas Camaridis, who will be playing in First Chance Round 2 on Saturday.
In second seed, Jamal Blakarli, also playing in Round 2.
Bradley Grace will join them in Round 2.
Number 4 seed, Saren Kwok, also in Round 2. This is going to be a stellar lineup to start.
Our 5th seed, Ed Sullivan, will be playing Friday night in Round 1.
First in our hearts, first in our minds, first on our boards. Matt Krill, number 6 seed, joins him there.
And number 7 seed, Yelty Kuiper, will be playing on Saturday. Next up, we see seeds 8 to 14. Riaz Varani, our number 8 seed, will be playing in Round 2.
The initial DBN Diplomat of the Year, Peter McNamara, joins us at number 9 seed and is playing Round 1.
Our number 10 seed, Doug Malott, will play on Friday.
Number 11 seed, Jason Bennett, also Friday night.
Number 12 seed, Nicolas Taillet, will play in Round 2.
Andrew Koch, unlucky, maybe lucky, 13th seed, will play in Round 2.
And number 14, Jason Massbaum, former DBN Diplomat of the Year, will be playing in Round 1. Moving on to seeds 15 to 21.
Number 15 seed, fellow DBN board member, fellow Windy City Weasel, and last year and defending champion, Brandon Fogel, seed 15, Round 2.
And in 16, Ruben Sanchez will be playing Friday night.
Number 17 seed, a foreign exchange student to the Windy City Weasels, Tim Crosby, is playing in Round 1.
Our 18th seed, Craig Mayer, will be playing in Round 2.
Number 19, Johnny Gillum, will be playing in Round 2.
And number 20 seed, Cedric Williams, will play in Round 1.
Rounding out this group of 7, Chris Brand, former world champ, 21st seed, playing Round 1.
Next up, we move into the danger zone. Most of these players are at risk if they do not win their first chance games. Now we move into the danger zone. Most of these players are at risk if they do not win their first chance games. Players in red must win to advance. Players in yellow are in danger if players below them manage to win. Our first and final safe position, number 22, our world champion and virtual diplomacy champion, Nicola Sahuge, will be playing in round 2.
Number 23 seed, Matthew Tatanchi, who is a late subscriber to this weekend's Cascadia. He joins us for round 1.
And 24th seed, Karthik Konath, will be playing in round 1.
Number 25 seed, Cameron Higby, is playing in round 2.
26 seed, Christopher Ward, in that danger zone, must-win game in round 2.
I have all the confidence in the world that the former Alpha Weasel in Chicago, 2019 Weasel Moot winner, Zach Moore, number 27 seed, playing in round 1. I have faith he will play at least one game.
Alpha Weasel for life. And rounding out our top 28, the final qualifier for the DBN Invitational is Keith Worstel, who will be playing in round 1. So, Kevin, this season only 2 of the top 28 declined their invitation. That means our top 28 are hungry and motivated to win. And here's a quick look at the players who declined their invitation. So number 6 seed Jackson Roberts, number 17 Simon Wessendrup, 30 Katie Gray, 31 Robert Schupa, and 35 Tim B, which means that our DBNI alternates are number 29 seed Ian Rudnick, Evan Bolaris, Isaac Jukes, Micah Blom, Cody Green, and Ben Kelman.
Bryan, since its inception in 2021, alternates have been an important part of the DBN Invitational, ensuring that when the unexpected happens, the event can continue. In the 2021 season, future Diplomat of the Year Jason Massbaum almost qualified for the championship game as an alternate. Last year, Chris Brand did make the game, almost winning. So there is chance, and we are extremely grateful for our players who have volunteered to step in when needed.
Well, Kevin, we have seen the players and the rounds they'll play in. Now let's find out what their matchups are going to be using our state-of-the-art DBN coin flipper, which can be found at the diplobn.com website /coinflip. We'll assign players in seed order to the game they will be playing in. Players are randomly split between games in reverse seed order until all boards have been filled.
Let's start with First Chance Round 1. These games will be played Friday, February 16th, 6 p.m. Eastern, which is 11 p.m. UTC. First up is Keith Worstel. Keith must win to advance. His best result was 5th place at Regatta.
And Keith Worstel is up against Zachary Moore. Keith got board 2, so that means that we will see Zachary Moore on board 1. Zachary Moore must win to advance, and his best points came from his 3rd place at Weaselmoot.
The next matchup we see here has number 24, Karthik Konath. Karthik needs to also win or ensure that Keith does not win or Zach does not advance. Karthik's best result this year was 3rd place at Regatta.
Karthik goes to board 2. He's up against Matthew Tatanchi, who will go to board 1. Matthew's best results came from his 3rd place finish at the Virtual Diplomacy League and 5th place for the Nexus Press League.
The next matchup has number 21, Chris Brand. Chris is a former world champ, 2016 here in Chicago, also on last year's championship top board. Chris, his best result this year was 3rd at WDC.
And Chris Brand going to board 2. Cedric Williams going to board 1. Cedric's best result is Nexus League, where he placed second place.
And that is a tough board 2 as it's looking already, but it's going to make it tougher here when we've got number 17, Tim Crosby. Tim is, as I mentioned earlier, he lives in Florida, but he plays a lot of games with us here in Chicago. Tim's best result this year is 4th at the VDC, but he had a strong finish in the TOB as well.
Tim Crosby also going to board 2, putting Ruben Sanchez on board 1. Ruben Sanchez's best result, second place at the EDC.
Let's show how those boards are showing out. Ruben, he's just so sneaky. He was so good last year. I can't wait to see how he falls out this year. So we've got the next seed. If you're going to mass bomb a tournament, you might as well be a former DBN Diplomat of the Year to do it. Jason sneaks in, and I shouldn't say sneaks in. Anytime you win a tournament, you deserve to be in. Jason gets the win at Carnage this year, and he will get the result of this flip.
It looks like that puts Jason Massbaum on board 2 and Jason Bennett on board 1. Jason Bennett's best points coming from the Tour of Britain, where he placed second, and his third place finish in the Nexus Press League.
The next matchup we see here, Doug Malott, number 10 seed. Doug comes in off of a first place finish at the Nexus Leagues this year.
So Doug ends on board 2, putting Peter McNamara on board 1. Peter McNamara, DBN Diplomat of the Year, and this season best scores came from second place at the VDC and fourth place at both the Virtual Diplomacy League and the World Diplomacy Championship.
I love it that 2 former Diplomats of the Year are on opposite boards, giving us a chance for a repeat later this year. However, they will have to get past the top seeds in this first chance round 1. Number 6, Matt Krill, the designer of the unbelievable boards that you might have seen if you've played face-to-face. Matt comes in this year with the win, back in April at Whipping.
Matthew Krill going to board 2. Ed Sullivan going to board 1. Ed Sullivan's best result was first place at Regatta, along with 2 third places at the Summer Classic and at Carnage. So what this means is that our first round of the 2024 DBN Invitational First Chance Games has been set. Ed Sullivan, Peter McNamara, Jason Bennett, Ruben Sanchez, Cedric Williams, Matthew Tatanchi, and Zachary Moyer make up your very first board.
Board 2 comes in with Matthew Krill, Doug Malott, Jason Massbaum, Timothy Crosby, Chris Brand, Karthik Koneth, and Keith Worstel.
All right, Kevin, that was fun. Let's do it again. Let's get ready for our round 2 games. First up, I think we're going to be looking at Christopher Ward.
Let's see. So moving to these games, these will be played Saturday, February 17th, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 3 p.m. UTC. As you mentioned, Wardy is our lowest seed in this round, number 26. Wardy finished 6th this year in the VDL. Had a nice performance last week, but a little tough on the result.
So it looks like Christopher Ward going to board 2, Cameron Higby to board 1, and Cameron's best result was a second place finish at Regatta.
Excellent. The next matchup we see here, number 22, Nicola No Effin Way Sahuge. He comes in this year with third place at Whipping.
So Nicola goes to board 2. Johnny Gillum goes to board 1. that Johnny Gillum, of course, scoring from 4th place at the Nexus Press League and 4th place at Weaselmoot.
The next matchup, and this might be the best luck that Craig Mayer gets the entire time, is that he can't play in the first round or first chance against Brandon Fogel. Craig comes in with the close 2nd place finish this year at Whipping.
Craig also going to board 2, Brandon Fogel going to board 1. Brandon Fogel, of course, the defending Diplomat of the Year from the previous season, and his biggest score of this season was a 2nd place finish at the World Diplomacy Championship.
Next, we move on to the 4th matchup, number 13 seed, Andrew Koch. Andrew Koch had a 1st place finish this year at Nexus. Oh, and another board 2, Brian. What are we going to say here?
Man, I think you need to check your code, Kevin. Andrew Koch gets board 2. That puts Nicolas Taillet on board 1. And Nicolas Taillet is earned his way into this championship with a 2nd place finish at the Virtual Diplomacy League, winning the regular season, and a 5th place finish at the Summer Classic.
So now we're getting into 6 of the top 8 seeds for these final 3 matchups. It's going to be easy to talk about best results going forward because these are all champs. And they want to become the biggest champion of the year. Number 8, Riaz Virani. Riaz, as I think Zach said on the Countdown Show, took a little rest after winning Cascadia more than 12 months ago at this point. But when he has a chance to put the dagger in, Riaz will do it. As mentioned, his best result, 1st place in last year's Cascadia.
And yes, we finally get a 1. So we see Riaz Virani going to board 1, and Yelty Kuiper, whose big points came from his 1st place win at the EDC, moving to board 2.
Yeah, that's a stellar result. Let's see here how it shakes out here. We're on to the final 2 flips. Number 4, Saren Kwok. Saren joined us this year in Chicago. Always great to see Saren. Saren did not win here this year. However, winning 1st place at the Summer Classic surely gets you enough points to finish number 4.
And Saren returning to form, going to board 2. Bradley Grace on board 1. Bradley Grace's big points came from winning the debut season of the Olympus Diplomacy Tournament and also the Tour of Britain, and 4th place in the Summer Classic.
The last flip comes down to champions, the biggest champions of the year, the largest face-to-face event, or maybe not the largest, but the most influential, the WDC, which Andrew Goff and others put on a fantastic show in Bangkok in August. I think it was August. Jamal Blakarli comes out on top of the biggest board of the year. Ooh, a slow flip. That'll change things up.
And it does. Jamal going to board 1, putting Michalis Kamaridis on board 2, our number 1 seed going into this tournament, earning his way into that place with 1st place at the Virtual Diplomacy League, 1st place at the North American DipCon DixieCon, and 3rd place at the BDC. So that puts the final round assignments for the DBNI 2024 First Chance Games as follows. In Game 3, Jamal Blakarli, Bradley Grace, Riaz Virani, Nicolas Taillet, Brandon Fogel, Johnny Gillum, and Cameron Higby.
Board 4 is number 1 seed Michalis Kamaridis, Saren Kwok, Yelty Kuiper, Andrew Koch, Craig Mayer, Nicolas Sahuge, and Christopher Ward.
Kevin, that is shaping up to be one of the most competitive sets of diplomacy games that I have ever seen. Last year's DBNI games were phenomenal, and looks like just from the player mix that we have, we've got the makings of another fantastic tournament.
Absolutely. We'll save the pregame commentary as we get closer to the games in a couple of weeks. But what we do have, similar to the last couple of years, is we've had our own March Madness where people pick who they think are going to make it to the championship game. We'll get those invitations out on the Discord servers, the VWDC, NADF, Nexus. We'll get those out there. When we've had winners in the past, we've had those winners come on to our program. So we look forward to getting good guesses. I won't say who the first winner was, but he got to come back on the show a lot more and gets to be doing a lot of the work, which I love. So.
And a quick reminder, you can watch DBN's coverage of the DBN Invitational semifinals. That's the first chance and last chance games, February 16th to 18th. The broadcast for the first chance games will be Saturday, February 17th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And the broadcast for the last chance games will be on Sunday, February 18th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And the following weekend, we will have our coverage of the DBN Invitational Championship game on February 24th. The time for that broadcast is to be determined. We won't know that until we know who has qualified and we establish that time. But if it goes like our previous events, it is most likely to be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We will keep you all up to date. And if you are watching all of this and want to know how can I get involved, here are a slew of upcoming DBNI events. First up, the North American DipCon at Cascadia, Vancouver, Canada, February 3rd to 4th. 7 Years War League on Discord, February 10th. Nexus Press League on Discord, February 11th. Melbourne Open in Melbourne, Australia, March 2nd to 3rd. Tour Britain League on Discord, March 9th. Whipping Open in San Francisco, California, March 22nd to 24th. And the Virtual Diplomacy League on Discord returns on March 30th.
Don't forget to tune in on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern to catch our coverage of Cascadia's North American DipCon.
I cannot wait, Kevin. We've got a great team, and that is always a really, really well-run tournament. Encourage you to make it out if you are able. I would like to thank each of you for watching this special edition of the DBNI Countdown Show. And Kevin, I'd like to give you a shout out as well. You do a ton of work behind the scenes. It's always nice to get you some screen time and be able to publicly thank you for all the hard work that you put in behind the scenes. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, please contact us at info@diplobn.com. If you enjoyed the show, please like the video. Click the subscribe button and tell us your thoughts or make your own predictions in the comments section below. All of these things help YouTube prioritize these videos, and it might help someone new discover this game that we enjoy so much. Until next time, stay safe and stab well. Have a great night.